Welcome everybody to Wolves After Dark. And look, it's both of us. We're both here, and it's my fault we're late today. You can blame me. But the Timberwolves win 125 to 124. Look at that. I even had the score ready.
Wow. Look at
I've
us
got the
leveling up.
banner ready. We've got everything coming together here. And that's a perfect segue. Everything's coming together for the Timberwolves.
Yeah.
Karl Anthony Towns came back. JJ's here for
What's
Towns'
up,
return.
JJ?
As Towns' biggest fan, I couldn't be happier. Me too. I definitely had zero doubts about tonight. Definitely had zero doubts about tonight. No, but Towns did
Oof.
amazing. What did he end up with? 20 some odd, 25 points,
22
or
points.
22 points.
Mm-hmm.
Still, I mean, just a fantastic night for him coming back. He was hot off the gate. He was a little wild out of the gate, kind of in Towns fashion.
Yeah.
But it worked, and it was nice to have that scoring out there again. Have just like a firm, like, I don't know, just like the ability to have like a really good 3-point shooter. Just like a constant threat. It's not like, and I don't mean to like go against these guys like TP, or, well, I do mean to go against Nah. Nah has not been great lately, but like, just like some of these guys that are shooters on our team. Like Cat is a shooter. Like he is a real shooter. That can go 50, 40, 90. But these other guys are a little bit more hit or miss. Towns is always going to get you a certain amount of points, and that's what superstars do.
Yeah.
Ian.
It was actually pretty neat. Yeah, what's up, Ian? What's up, Gerald? JJ? Dude, the gang is back, man. And Cat's back, everyone's here. It was kind of neat to see, outside of that like transition take by Cat early in the game, that like we were just like playing the offense. We weren't playing get Cat the ball. We weren't playing like feed Rudy. I think with Conley, man, the game is really like planned out. Like you're not gonna like fuck it up, and we're not gonna make mistakes that are egregious that like lead into fast break turnovers and all that stuff. I say that, but like when Conley gets to the gets pulled, gets yanked 6 minutes in, it transforms our team, and we have to find a new identity. It is so nice to have a little bit of stability where we can have, as you said, like a 3-point threat always. And like Cat is going to be like that for tonight. And maybe you didn't see a whole lot of it tonight, but we saw a lot of energy and hustle from him, and it was cool to see. He was very eager to get back on the court. I'm very happy for him, and like just the state of Minnesota right now to like be revved up for the last 8 games, because if we lost this game, oh boy, this was going to be kind of a weird like setting to like be comfortable in or be very uncomfortable with, right?
Yeah, in the beginning of the game, I think Minnesota, both the fans and the players, are guilty of this. We get into this mode in the beginning of games where we get a little run, we're up by like 5-ish points or 8-ish points, and we start feeling really good about ourselves. And then we let off the gas, and obviously the fans have no say in this, but like, we kind of get comfortable and don't care as much anymore. And then immediately they're back. Oh, they're down 10. Now we're on the ropes, and it's like, oh my goodness, this is dangerous. But every game, and we're going to get into this a little bit more at the end of the show after we do like the tier list and stuff like that. But boy, oh boy, these last 8, I mean, obviously it's the last 8 games, and the difference between the 12 seed and the 4 seed is 3.5 games.
Like 3 games. Yeah. What is that? Like, I've never seen that in the history of the NBA.
Unreal. It is unreal.
Speak in hyperbole or anything, but yeah.
I mean, man, I really don't remember this. This is crazy.
Hell of a game from all of our others that sometimes are afterthoughts, sometimes are 4th, 5th options on offense, have really grown mature into a role. Holy crap. Are we lucky to have players like Nasri, Jaden McDaniels come out tonight? Because we aren't winning this game with them. We would have to overly rely on Karl Anthony Towns tonight if that was the case, and if they weren't ready. This is kind of a weird blessing in disguise. Like, I can't believe we got this team the way that we have become, and like risen through all adversity, and now Cat is back, and now Ant is coming back into the fold to see what this team can actually ultimately be with all the momentum on our side, potentially, hopefully, right? Like, we're going to lose some games. That is incredibly frustrating to watch certain games go the way they go. But then we got the next game, right? Herculean effort from, Taurean Prince, Kyle Anderson. We don't win these games without these players seeing the trees line up. Like Finches has all these tools to kind of like work through obstacles and see if we can get the best result possible. That's like really interesting as an exercise. But as a Timberwolves fan, ooh, it is butt clenching and stressful.
It is. Yeah, it's just very fascinating. I think you said something earlier that was kind of interesting. The way we started this game was really nice. Like when we had Towns and Gobert and Ant and D'Lo in the beginning of the season, there was just a lot of forcing. You kind of mentioned it. It was like
Oh my
force the
god,
ball
yeah.
to Gobert. Like Cat was trying to make sure that there was no like power dynamic between him and Gobert. So he was like active, like too aggressively passing to Gobert at every chance he
Yeah.
had. But then at the same time, you're just trying to fit in Ant and D'Lo and all these guys into this kind of lineup. Also, as you mentioned, like Mike Conley, I think there's just a simplicity to the offense when there's somebody
Dude.
like Mike Conley out there because you just kind of know. Mike Inori was saying before the game, he was showing like the horns action that they're going to run, and it's like, I'm thinking they're kind of like, well, like why do we put this on TV? Like this is interesting for me to see, but like why do we put this on TV and tell everybody this is what our plan is for our major players? It's because there's too many things to have like a plan to stop it only. So like, sure, you can defend that well, but like there's always just an option. There's just
Mhm.
always another pass. There's always a different lob. There's always a different shot. So, it doesn't really matter if they know. And Ant has said this much too. I'm kind of going all over the place, but like Ant said he loved the playoffs last year because game plans go out the window. It's just 1v1. It's just who's gonna make the play, who's gonna convert on the play, and that's all it comes down to. It's not like, oh, we got to do this and this and this. Like, sure, there's things that you talk about, but it just comes down to like one-on-one, like street ball, basically. So,
Yeah.
and
You're not hiding anything from any NBA front office or coach, by the way. Like you say that thing you posted on, uh,
yeah, yeah,
Valley Sports North. Who's actually watching Valley Sports North? It's like, us. And like, oh my god, we can't wait to tweet this, how angry we are about this. But like, everyone knows what horn action is. We just have this extra 7 foot big who's going to play to the
mhm,
like the utmost strength of what horns can be. So like, look out when that is our action, which barely happened tonight. By the way, the horns like barely happened. When it does happen, watch out. You have to have three. You have to have three like kind of defensive schemes for that kind of set.
mhm,
So
mhm.
really interesting. Like what we were kind of learning about ourselves is that we were starting to become a defensive oriented team. We are grinding games out, win or lose. We are driving possessions to the like the last second or two on both sides even. Um, and sometimes with Cat and D'Lo and even Ant, like early offense could be a blessing, but also it can be to our detriment. That's
Mhm.
the front end rim out. They leak out. They get an offensive
Yeah.
transition bucket.
Mhm.
It's really nice to have the ball in Conley's hands. I just want to say that much. It's really nice
Oh,
to
yeah.
have easy action, predictable action. When we have someone coming back from injury, the last thing you want to do is like flub all of our offensive sets and have the ball go off out of bounds like several times, right? You want to have that be because of lapses on defense, which happen. You want to have that become like things that are fixable. But when we're not like in sync offensively, well, things get really hard to kind of overcome. We were in sync.
Yeah.
Cat didn't like. It didn't look like Cat missed. We missed him, but like it didn't seem like you
Yeah.
know, it, we were having the struggle to get him back in. We weren't
Mm.
forcing anything. He was being a little aggressive when he had the ball, but that's awesome. Having him
Yeah.
being exaggerating his like 3 point excitement is
Mhm.
awesome because
Yeah.
he's fueled, he's in, he's engaged, and that must have been so shit to be out of the season for
Oh, yeah.
50 plus games, watching your team struggle, stay around 500. Where this could have been the season for us.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
It really could have
totally
been. That was our guess coming into the season. I mean, we did our predictions and we were ready to think that this team could be like a top 4 seed, top 3 seed in the West. And obviously things have changed, and I guess it's still possible we could be the 4 seed. But like, uh, but yeah, no, it's. I just agree with everything you're saying. I was expecting Cat to have maybe a little bit less of a good game today. I was expecting it to be one of two things: either a lot of forcing it to Cat to get him to like get some shots and just getting a lot of misses, getting rust off and stuff like that. It almost never looked at any point like Towns was like rusty. Like like the only thing that was happening in the first quarter that scared both you and me
Mhm.
was that he was like slipping and sliding around, and it's
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh, like no, like I'm
Even that
sure
very
he
last
doesn't
play.
do.
Even that very last play.
Yeah, yep, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's scary. But no, he played great. Like honestly, if you would have just like I've said this before, and this is so like morbid, but like if you would have just woken up from a coma, like you wouldn't know that he was out previous to this game. Like this game was just like a normal Towns Timberwolves game, just with I mean, other than the fact that Ant was out, but like for the Towns element of it, like that was like this was a pretty normal Towns game.
Yeah. And that's great. That's what we want. We don't want something abnormal right now. We want him to be fitting in, not sticking out unless it's called upon. And I just like tip my hat off to like all the coaching staff to get him ready. Like get, like be patient with his recovery and not force and rush anything because like you're seeing like the standings in the West, you could have taken that other approach and said, you know what, Cat, come back now. Like I bet you if
Mhm.
Tibbs was in the helm, like something would have happened where Cat was coming back earlier, like and then fuck up Jimmy Butler like style knee injuries for perennial injuries for the rest of his career, right? Like I'm
Mhm.
sure something like that happened with Kawhi too because he's getting injured off and on, and poor Paul George, poor one out for Paul George. Hopefully he comes back healthy, but
Oh
you know what I'm saying? It's like
yeah.
these are going to be potential concerns for Cat moving forward. And so how he
Mhm.
controls himself, if he can be a stable presence out there and not necessarily go wild because his age is going to come up to him and he's going to have these injuries take longer and longer to recover. And, certain people are like fucking mutants like Zach Levine and like even like,
Mhm.
even Paul George to an extent. Your knee breaks and you're back in, and you're an all-star form, But
Yeah.
tip my
That
hat to the team and the front office for being patient, but then also just being game ready tonight. And we have three
yeah.
games. We have 3 days or so to kind of prepare for the next game. That's
Exactly.
potentially with Ant.
Yeah, I think it is. I think John Krasinski kind of made a slip up. I don't know if it's a slip up. It doesn't really matter. But on Twitter today,
Right.
he said Towns back today, Ant's coming back the next one, or something like that. And it was like, oh, okay. I didn't know he was officially coming back for the next one, um, but that's huge. A week or two ago, when we hadn't really, or maybe it was 2 weeks ago, when we hadn't had like any news on Towns's injury or anything like that, I was like, or there were like rumblings, and I was like, I just don't want to bring him back because like if he's not ready, we've only got at the time I was doing it. I think it was like 15 games left, and I just kept saying, I think it came on here on one of the shows, and I was like, I like why risk it? Like
Mhm.
if he's seriously injured or could get re-injured easily, like I don't want any part of that because Cat's too important to our team.
Yeah.
However, the future looks like he is so important to us. So, like, I don't want to risk it for a season that we've played. Not, I mean, this season's been just like all over the place for everybody in the West, but like, for a season where we were expected to be like a top four seed, um, I mean, we almost are. We may miss the play in. I mean, I know we're on like a high note right now, and we obviously have some momentum, but like it was just kind of like, why are we doing this? But I will say credit, like you said, like this, he did look game ready tonight. And perhaps maybe they were more cautious than they needed to be, and that's why there was maybe some frustration from Towns and things like that. But no, I think he looked
Yeah.
ready tonight, and having these 3 days off is huge because now he can kind of learn, like, okay, how did it feel to be in a game? Because he was in the game for quite a while tonight, more than I thought he
No
was
minutes
going to be.
restriction too, by the way.
Well, they said before, Finch said like he didn't say minutes restriction, I don't think, but he said some kind of a limit. But
Uh,
it's like he was like, I mean, like sure he wasn't out there for like 40 minutes, but like he was out there.
there were some
Like
crazy substitutions where like Cat came out and like Cat came back in with like 2 minutes to go in the first
yeah,
quarter.
yeah, yeah.
Like just no, Rudy Gobert comes back for the final possession in the first quarter. Like some
That
really
was
crazy
so weird.
rotations, but yeah.
Yeah.
Um, very happy for Cat. I am very on board with this version of Cat moving forward.
Mhm.
I want to see his energy is going to be like infused in the rest of the team. It's going to be so cool to see what Conley does with this type of player. I don't think he's ever had a player like this before. Maybe like some version of Zach Randolph, like, but I don't think Zach Randolph is a very comparable player to Cat. So
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
very fun to see this gritty win, and I think we needed this type of win. We didn't want to blow out. We wanted this kind of win that we like every player has meaning, and like the like the plays come down to like those last few seconds, and heroics from like everyone around, like the TP threes, the Jaden, just like he's the alpha in so many instances. Like,
Yeah.
it's crazy to see that. So like, I'm really happy with this roster, even though it's like so funny how like talked to me a month ago and I was like, I can't wait to blow this team up. But anyway, um,
Yeah. Yeah.
the Hawks are no slouch. They are like kind of fighting for position and jockeying for position in the East. But holy crap, they are hard to play against and difficult
Yeah.
to overcome some of the ref adversity that we were seeing. Man, there's some crazy fouls that are happening, crazy calls that are happening both sides. But like, I'm just happy that we just got this. We needed this one, probably more than they did,
Yeah.
honestly.
Oh yeah. I don't actually. I guess I should take a peek. I should see what the Western or the East looks like. They're in the eighth spot right now, one game under 500, and they are actually they're 3.5 games back of the seventh seed. So like, I mean, that's kind of a ways, and it's a tie for the sixth seed, I guess too. But I don't know. It seems like they're probably pretty content where they are, and they've got a game advantage on Toronto for the ninth seed. So
Wow,
it was
Toronto in the
more
ninth
important.
seed, huh?
Yeah, I haven't looked at the East like at all the whole season.
Yeah,
I've just been paying attention to the West because it's been like when have you ever been able to look at the standings the entire year and have like, oh my gosh, we're one game here and one game like away from being destroyed.
yeah.
But like the plan right now is Miami, Atlanta, and then Toronto, Chicago. Um,
Wow, wow.
super weird. But anyways, that's the East. Um, yeah, you want to get into the tier list?
I do.
Okay. Let me do this. Bow.
In so
Oh,
many
how do I
ways,
do
when
this?
we were like looking for a bucket, it was uncomfortable, but it was also like I wasn't worried at the same time, and that's a weird feeling. Like I was, butt was clenched. I was standing. Like I was cringe. I was like clenching my fists and everything, but like calmly with that. That like pushing to the right for three. Jaden with the dunks, the putbacks, the threes himself. Like getting to the line. Gobert putbacks, Kyle Anderson hook shots. We have a lot of little things that we can do, and they're not like set plays. They're just instinctual feels, and they are just like the bag of our team. Like what is the best parts of our team? It's like every player has like one or two go-to moves, and we can rely on that. And so like that's scary. Like predictably, I could kind of know how Dallas is going to run their final action. I know how like literally every other team is going to run their final action. With Cat and Ant back in the mix, I don't really know 100% how we're going to play as a
Yeah.
Timberwolves fan. That's kind of crazy. So like I
I
don't know how. Like I would
yeah,
assume it's an Ant ISO, but I don't think that's 100% always going to be the case.
yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah, I am fascinated too, but we're gonna learn in the most important week of the season that we've been hyping up for the whole month.
Wow.
Uh,
Crazy to think like let's get to the drawing board and have a
seriously.
practice and then like the most important game of our lives every time for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, it is. It's crazy. But yes, I just have to mention. So JJ, it was a bad ref game. Cool the league demoted Ben Taylor and then had him as head ref for tonight's
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
And like honestly, that's a pretty terrible game for him, considering that this was the game that he was demoted to, and then he had this game, which was just like,
Yeah.
yeah, I can't personally stand watching Trey Young play. I like to share very mean memes of him, which I will not share here because it's too mean. But I don't like him, and it's really hard to watch. And he flopped the entire game,
Uh,
but Ben Taylor rewarded it. So,
yeah.
um,
That's a lot of his game.
yep, Jim Pete said it best. I know I'm always quoting him, but like he is refing off of like what was the word that he used? Not like expectation or tendencies. He's refing off of
Oh yeah.
tendencies or something like that. So like he just sees that him do the flop and he's like, well, a lot of the
Huh.
time he gets contact, so we're just gonna call it basically.
Oh my god.
Um,
Yeah.
so dumb. But anyways, tier list. You got some stats for us?
I would have, but I don't. I just
I
have
can pull
the
them up.
box score. I'll have the box score. I don't have stats.
Oh, I see. I see.
We won the game.
We did. End of period.
Um, 15 second chance points compared to Atlanta's 11. 19 fast break points compared to Hawks 16. You guys taking notes? Because I'm sure not. Points of the paint, the Timberwolves 62, Hawks 50. I think
Okay,
that's pretty significant.
that is, yeah. Towns played a part in that tonight too, by the way,
Yeah,
which was
yeah,
also not expected. He was posting people up, which we haven't seen since like last year.
right. Yeah, I don't even know if like the Atlanta was like missing anyone or anything, but like, man, I don't think they're that fun to watch. They're very ref dependent, but
Oh, yeah.
anyways, and I think their best player obviously is Trae Young, but like DeAndre Hunter looks like a stud. All right,
He
cool.
looks crazy. Yeah, yeah.
Starting with the bench, and I feel like this guy played based off of reputation of last game more so than he needed to play this game. Jalen Noel, 8 minutes, no points. You know, it's just like maybe we didn't need to actually play him tonight. Maybe we were looking for an offensive spark, but I think we had one in our bench. We just didn't utilize him enough or go to him as much as we should have. But we found that out in the fourth quarter. For our boy Jalen Noel, you know, this team is moving on. This team is growing, and it's potentially growing without you. And so I'm saying a D for our boy, but he only got like 8 minutes, so he really couldn't have done much with those 8 minutes, anyways. But he got a turnover, and that's fucking enough for
Yeah.
me.
And he had a terrible open three that he just like clanked. But yeah, I mean, the last game was, I guess, I mean, I'm like the resident hater of all these players, I guess, I feel like. But as the one that calls Jalen Noel Shabazz Muhammad, last game, he looked really good. I actually really liked him. I felt like there was a difference in the way he was moving with the ball. There was even like a difference in the way he was shooting the ball. Like he still has like that kind of crazy mid-range game that I think is really effective for him. But yeah, no, tonight was just a dud, and he only played 8 minutes, so I guess it's
Yeah.
just I think a D is fair.
Yeah, moving on to his probable replacement that we feel like has been a healthy dose of that's like stability and defense and length and just tall boys galore because that's what our team is now. It feels like Nikhil Alexander Walker, 18 minutes. He hit a three after being like 0 for his last 14 or whatever the fuck it was, but that was his only shot he made. And I felt like when he was out there, Mike Conley was not, and that's when the Hawks kind of went on a little bit of a run, both in the third quarter,
Yep.
early in the fourth, as well as that first quarter stint where we were up a healthy amount, and then when we had the subs come in, like the lead was evaporated. So I wouldn't say it's all on him, but like they definitely attacked him and took advantage of
Oh,
him.
for sure.
And I think like even like just because he doesn't have the reputation that Trae Young does, he gets called for small sticky tack shit. So yeah, I'm gonna say like a D for Nikhil Alexander Walker. That's like not really fair, but also like yeah, I think so.
I think it's a D, and honestly, I am getting dangerously close to Juancho tier for him. He has just
Oh,
been really bad. I don't know. I know he's part of the tall boys, but like it's just every time he's out there. It's not just tonight. Like when he's out there, other teams go on runs, whether it's by him fouling like at bad times or just missing shots. I have very little confidence when he drives to the rim and tries to lay it up now. Like it's just airball city when he tries to lay it up. So like I'm just I don't know, like sure he's the occasional 3-point threat and he can play a little bit of defense, but of course he gets called for these ticky tack fouls. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not digging it as much lately. I still think it's a good player to have as just an option. But like for tonight, it was bad. It was a D.
notably missing in the roster rotation tonight was Jordan McLaughlin, and I don't know, like we used him obviously towards the end of the season and in the playoffs, and he's a big part of what we do. Maybe like moving forward as we are growing and evolving this team. Well, McLaughlin wasn't there, so like maybe Nikhil doesn't even get minutes when McLaughlin is back. But like McLaughlin has kind of been like baby sad. You know, he hasn't even been baby Mac. Yeah, it was like he's like
Yeah.
junior bacon fries, right? Like I don't know what the fuck I'm trying to say, but like he hasn't been what he's been. So like it's nice to have another look, another type of look, uh, you know, at that position. But like all of them have kind of been pretty sad lately.
Mhm. Yeah. And
Hard
sorry, we
shoes,
still don't have his picture in here.
yeah, and big shoes to fill, right? Like we totally upgraded from D'Lo to Mike Conley, and like
Yeah. Yep.
stability was like the reason why we loved our bench so much with McLaughlin and whatever. But like Conley's that now in spades. So like, what do we get from our bench? I'm not sure. D
Yeah.
for him.
Ian says something great. Nah is better than Rivers at the very least.
Yeah,
True. Yeah,
that's
I
also
agree. Also,
awesome to see.
yeah, it is. It is good. Also, shout out, yay hey, welcome to the stream.
What's up,
I
yay
haven't seen
hey?
that before.
Yeah, I like it. I don't know what your user profile picture is, but it looks like you're holding on to something with your thumb, and it might be green. All right. I don't know. What? All right, cool. But notably, maybe two of the best players tonight. I don't want to like fucking like, you know, color your grades. Torian Prince, 28 minutes, 15 points. Just a freaking stud out there, man. I love him so much. 3 turnovers, yeah, 2 steals though, 3 assists. He does a little bit of everything. Went to the line 5 times, made them all. 2 threes, clutch threes. Our boy
Yep.
Torian Prince, kind of running off of last night's or last game's energy.
Yep.
I think a B, B plus, if not an A. If not an A, because like we're not expecting 35 points. We're not even expecting like 15 points on a nightly basis. So
Yeah, no, the 35 or whatever he had was insane. Tonight was a very good night for him. And this is the Torian Prince that we need for the rest of the season and hopefully the postseason. Because if we have this version of Torian Prince, along with a fully healthy starting five, I feel really good with Nas as like a bench piece. Like right there, those 7 players right there, I feel very good about going into it. Like any series in the playoffs, I feel really good if he can play like this.
Sorry to say, Jalen Noel, but like Torian Prince has also taken your role as the spot like penetrator, right? Like he goes deep, he goes hard, he goes. Yes, he does, ladies and gentlemen. And Jalen Noel no longer does that anymore. Like his floaters are sad, his threes are has-beens, and he was supposed to be the Beasley replacement slash like he was supposed to supplant him, and that's not been the case. So like Torian Prince has been like, yeah, fuck it, it's my time. This is like he's feeling great about his, and he also like turned 28 or 29 today. Like
he turned 29, yeah.
Happy birthday, Torian Prince from
Yeah,
Wolves
you get an
After
A.
Dark. You get an A.
Happy birthday.
However, not to be outdone, but definitely was. Number 11, Naz Reid, JJ Barea, Cologne.
Oh, that's right. It's JJ. I've never put that together. It's JJ's number.
26 points, 8 rebounds, 2 steals, 11 for fucking 15 from the floor.
On Karl Anthony Towns' return.
On Karl Anthony return. Spoiler. He was actually playing crunch time minutes, and like Cat was not in there until like 90 seconds left to go. And I think that was the right call. Like, sorry, Big Boy and all those other fans, but like that was the right call. Nas is somewhat important for this team. I don't know if it's for pieces next year, but I feel like Nas is going to be important for this team moving forward. He has an incredible handle. I just love that so much, and I think when he's on. It's amazing. He is so exciting to watch. And while Gobert was stinking the bed sometimes throughout the season, it was fun to have someone else to root for and pretend in a vacuum that it could be better. Nas Reid, 26 points, A1 for our dog from LSU.
It pretty much has to be. I mean, this is crazy production for somebody, especially like if we're going off like obviously C is what we expect. What would you expect for the third string center on the team to get after Karl Anthony Towns proclaimed proclaimed best big shooter or whatever, and then you've got Rudy Gobert out there. He comes in and scores more than either one of them. That's insane. So yeah, I agree. A1. He's just like you said, whether it's value to us as a player next year or as assets from another team or whatever. He's just such a big part of the future, but he's just so legit. Like he does these in and out dribble moves. He's hitting just like tough shots, bank shots. And, as I was talking about like Nickeil Alexander-Walker having zero confidence when he goes to the rim, I have all the confidence in the world whenever Nas is anywhere near the paint because I just like he can do anything. He can do it all. He's so quick.
Yeah.
He's just I don't know. He's just such an interesting player, and I just love him.
Yeah, JJ Crates says like Nas was a big reason the Wolves came back from being down late. Like 8 minutes to go, we're down 10,
Yeah.
111, 101, and we come back and we're taking the lead. It's actually 100% Nas. Like Nas at the 3, Nas at that like runner shot. Unbelievable. He has like a hook shot now.
Yeah, that sky hook was insane.
Yeah, like I don't know. Like Brandon Clark is probably the best big off the bench in the league, in my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong, but color me like completely like a gassed Timberwolves fan right now, just running on these types of games. But like Nas Reed is right up there. So
yeah, no, he definitely is.
And what a weapon! Like we go from Karl-Anthony Towns to Nas Reed. We go from like Rudy Gobert to Nas Reed. Good luck.
Yeah,
Opposition.
yeah.
Like good luck. Right. That's a 3-headed
You
giant
just have
that like
constant
no other
scoring.
team in the NBA has.
Yeah, we really have such an odd team, but
like the Lakers go from Anthony Davis to Wenyen Gabriel. You know, like
yeah, yeah,
Denver goes from Nikola Jokic to JaVale McGee.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Like Dallas goes from Dwight Powell to JaVale McGee. That's good. I don't know who he plays for. I think it's one of those two teams. But yeah, my point is A1 performance tonight. He gets a bad whistle as well, and I just think that sometimes
Yeah.
he's in his own head a little bit, and he gets really frustrated. And he's also a little bit of an emotional doughboy himself. But I love what he does for us. That was a lot
Yeah,
of
he
time
does.
on the bench players.
It was worth it,
Yeah.
especially the top two and the invisible one.
Before we get to the starters, thank you guys for showing up in double digits tonight.
We are in double
At
digits.
least an hour after the show, an hour after the game. Grady calls game. We call after dark. Thanks for showing up. Don't forget to like and share and join the Discord. It's there. It's been a little bit livelier lately. More.
It's about to get crazy.
Yeah, and we want you for that.
Regardless of what happens, it's gonna get crazy. If it goes bad, there's gonna be a lot of stuff going on in the Discord.
So, I mean, all right. If it goes well, lots of things can happen to the Discord too.
No, it's just we only plan for the bad.
Okay. John Morant came back. What if we see them in the postseason redemption? Ooh, a little on point.
I would love that.
Team? Did you see his like whole team wearing like redemption shirts?
I saw his dad, but I didn't see the whole team doing it.
Pretty fucking sad.
Yeah, I really do hate them. I've hated the Grizzlies for a long time, though. I used to complain all the time to my dad and Maddie when I was watching the games. I'd be like, the Grizzlies fans are the worst. Now, I can't say this anymore because we complain all the time. But I was like, they complain about the calls in the stadium. There's just the worst. They're so loud and everything was the worst. And I hated them from that point on. And now I don't like Ja. And I obviously don't like who likes Dylan Brooks. But yeah. And by the way, did you see the jersey swap with him and Kyrie? That was that's so painful. Even though I hate him, it was like, I can't watch it. It's so uncomfortable.
That was pretty uncomfortable. Yeah, it was a good watch. It was a good rewatch.
It was. Sorry, I got us off track. Back to the tier list.
It's our potential opponent. We have to, take him down right now while we can.
Now, the script is to have them fall into like the 3 seed to go against the 6 seed Golden State Warriors so they can have a nice little first round do-si-do.
Yeah.
And then I don't know what the 7-2 seed. I guess it'll probably be like the Kings and who is there? I can't think. It'll be the Kings and it could be us.
Yeah. Why not us?
That'd be kind of
next.
fun. Light the beam.
Yeah, light the beam.
Okay.
Mike Conley, 30 minutes on the nose, 13.6 assists, 1 foul, doesn't matter. No turnovers.
I love that.
When Mike Conley is aggressive, this team cannot be guarded. I have almost full faith in that statement. Because,
especially with Towns back.
Yeah, because I think people can start to think like who's going to be the fourth and fifth option, who's the ball not going to get passed back to, and they're going to sag off, right? They're going to kind of like protect the paint a little bit, double Gobert so the ball doesn't get in there. When Conley's aggressive, when Conley has an early action three, when Conley has those floaters that here or there, he's not Trae Young. He can never be Trae Young now, but he can get to like 10, 15 points when he's there.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're nigh unstoppable. When he's not like that, it is like a zero.
Yeah, it's bad. Yeah, because
we are very predictable.
If he can't demand a defender, or like you're saying, if they're going to sag off of him, then it's back to the good old Ricky Rubio days where it's like it's 4-on-5, but that's not what it's like most of the time because he is a good shooter, and he does have the floater game. It's not like Ricky Rubio, but you know what I mean. But yeah, no, I mean, especially because like hypothetically, once we get to these playoff matchups, assuming we make the playoffs, it's going to be obviously people are going to be putting their best defenders, their top 3 defenders on. Well, actually, I was going to say that it's really they're going to put their top 2 best defenders on Ant and Cat, and then Rudy will have a little bit of an opportunity, but they'll usually have a big on him. So then it's going to come down to Jaden, and it's going to come down to Mike Conley's ability to make shots. So those 2 are going to really carry us. And guess what? They're both getting hot. So It's perfect timing, mainly Jaden, but they're getting hot. They're making shots. And you kind of saw it a little bit from Conley tonight. He was being a little more aggressive with his shots, and he was like doing step back threes and stuff like that. Like there was some interesting things happening.
Yeah, there was that one play where he got to the line where we had no offensive whatsoever, and it was like, all right, let's just calm down a little bit. He knows the little idiosyncrasies to get our game back in the flow of things. Maybe our offensive sets aren't working really well, where like Kyle Anderson couldn't get the ball back to him. All right, let's slow down the next offensive possession, find a rhythm, and if we don't have that with 6 seconds left to go on the shot clock, let's get to the line. Let's drive and get to the line. That was awesome. What a pickup, in my opinion. A grade for our boy in 3, 2, 1. B.
B? Yeah. Okay, good.
Because this is what I want to see, but I wouldn't mind more aggression. I wouldn't mind seeing from 13 to 18 points or something like that. But like, that's potentially unexpected territory for him. And with this team, this loaded of a roster, and now Cat coming back, taking up 18 shots. Holy crap! Looking at that box score really quick.
He had 18 shots. Wow.
Yeah. You remember in the playoffs, he had like 5 fouls, 4 shots. Like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's nice to see that like healthy spread of shots there. Okay, Rudy Gobert, 33 minutes, barely scored in the first half, but had quite a sensational second half. I'll say, defensively at least, 12 points, 12 rebounds, 1 steal, 1 block shot, but it probably is like 100 deflections and 100 like second guessing of what our offense is by Atlanta. And missing 4 free throws, I guess that's kind of expected. But 5 of his 12 rebounds were offensive, and that was big. And for a team that is big but is poor at rebounding, we need him to do the things like that. So that's great. All right, cool. Our boy.
That's why we got him here.
Yeah, our boy Rudy Gobert. A grade for him in 3, 2, 1.
B. Yep. I mean, I agree with everything you said. I think he was, this is what happens when Towns comes back, and especially when Ant comes back, we're not going to have, it doesn't work. Like, obviously, like if you ever played like, I don't know, 2K, or even look at like those Warriors lineups that they had a couple of years ago with like KD and everybody that was scoring a ton of points, like people's roles get diminished over like when these things happen. So you're not going to have Rudy because he's had a stretch of really good games where he's even had like almost 20 games and stuff like that. That's just not going to happen with like a Towns coming back, Naz Reid playing how he played. So like he did have that. He had one crazy block against Trae Young that I don't even understand why Trae Young even attempted to shoot, but like Rudy swallowed it up and just swatted it right back, and then we just had a breakaway. So it was
great. That was great.
That was amazing. And you said it best. How many second guesses are we making the Hawks offense or any offense Like how many times are they double thinking, or what is the word I'm trying to say? I don't know, thinking twice about
Yeah.
like a layup or about driving to the rim or even some threes. Like he's still closing out on some amount of threes, but like how many that doesn't show up anywhere, and that is something that he does incredibly well. Um,
Yeah.
and that's
And
why numbers almost don't even matter for him.
Atlanta can actually make us look pretty stupid. Trae Young on a nightly basis goes for like
Yeah,
the most points against us in the league. Apparently, whatever that stat is, but like, yeah, Gobert has his tendencies. He's like gonna have be a hat hard to break his habits. Like his habits have been formed already. But like
yeah,
Trae Young will just does floaters for days. And like Gobert will do everything he can to do the exact same thing he's done all year, all career. Um, and so that one time when he stepped up in front of Trae, that was awesome to see, as you said. Um,
mhm.
cool. Yeah, I think as long as he's not frustrated and doesn't let that kind of blow in or like boil over into his production, um,
Yeah, yep,
we're going to be okay. Because there's going to be times where he gets fouled, he misses his free throws. We don't get him the ball. He's not going to get production on that side. But when he's engaged, he gets more engaged, right? So we
mhm.
got to figure this out because when Cat was out, we definitely tried. We definitely almost sometimes to a fault forced it with him.
Yeah,
Um, but him getting excited, him getting angry at our teammates, him getting jazzed for
yeah,
putback dunks, I want that emotion because
I do.
I feel like that builds a better brand of basketball, that builds a better like
Yes,
camaraderie, and it's like airs out all dirty laundry. Like don't hold anything in, talk about it,
100%.
get this done because Cat sagging off on defense, that better be one and done if that ever happens
Yeah,
in a game.
yep. Because we are at winning time. It was one thing when it was the first 10 games of the season. You're all cutesy, getting used to each other, whatever, trying to do behind the back passes and lobs or whatever from
Yeah,
center to center,
totally.
like whatever. But like we are you lose, you fall to the 13 seed territory. So like,
Yeah,
this is why like when he was yelling, I don't remember if it was a Jaden or if it was a Towns or who he was yelling at, but it's like I don't care. Maybe people view that as like a bad thing, but like you said, that just airs it all out. And then we can get through that and learn. This is just how you get better. This is how you get better in these situations. And I think the team has enough good rapport with each other. Like, I don't know how like close like Rudy is with everybody else. Like, I think if I had to guess, I think everybody else is closer than with each other on the team than anybody's closer with Rudy. But like
yeah,
either way, I think there's enough rapport there and enough just like, you know, is it not to bring up a totally different topic, but like Pat Bev on his podcast today or yesterday or something talked about how like on the Lakers, like his opinion wasn't like valued, and then also at the same time, like he's got fans that are always like saying all these crazy things to him, like oh you shouldn't even be playing. There's just like this crazy amount of pressure because you're in LA. The same things happen in New York, all like the major cities. And he's like oh and now when I'm in Chicago like I don't have that same stress and like I feel like valued and like it's just different. That's the kind of positive things that can come out of a smaller market where you don't
yeah,
have people where in the millions are like sending death threats or something like that. There's like there's differences. And I
yeah.
think Gobert has a little bit more of an opportunity here to maybe be a little bit more of that vocal leader because he's not going to have that same pushback that he would have someplace else. So,
Yeah, that's true.
uh,
This is a random aside, but it's just on culture and international players in the league. You look at the Spurs; they were full of international players. You look at
mhm.
the, like even like the Lakers of periods, like they had a lot of international players. And like, let me just talk like Giannis and a couple other players are international. They have a bond, even with the Timberwolves with like Rubio and like Shved and all this other nonsense that we had. Like
Yeah,
there's just bonds that are built from the international scene coming into America, being a part of another, roster here. Like we don't have another international player on our roster other than Rudy Gobert. So
mhm.
like he already has this like I'm fitting out of this team. Like and the team's younger than him. The team is a little bit more immature than him, and or is a different type of skill set, and the game has moved on past him. So like he is trying to fit in 2023 as the only like it's like all these like
Yeah,
if then statements that don't are not in his favor at all. And I just give him a lot of credit for just trying to be there, be present, and also trying to instill um his like instincts and his gift to our team, and it's trickling in because like Jaden is like nigh unstoppable with Gobert at like
Yeah,
like lower line of defense because man, Jaden would get in foul trouble and we would be like, we have no defense now. Last
yep,
year, the
yep,
previous season, now we have a lot of like tiers to our defense, which is really sick.
yeah.
Okay, cool. I love this like conversation that we're having because these next 8 games are going to matter a whole lot, and we're going to have to ride or die with this team. We're going to have to be as uplifting as possible and see however the chips may be. Like I'm not going to be worried one way or the other because we've been dealing with a lot of adversity, and even if we find ourselves out of the play-in, we did like what are we going to be mad about? Like we did our best. Like honestly, like I'm at that point.
I think I am too.
Um, all those games we could have won, we can't take back. So let's try again next year. And that was kind of like my philosophy with Cat, with coming back maybe now. Like maybe
Yeah,
we were forcing it, like I wasn't
yeah,
100% sure if he was 100% ready, but maybe he was forcing it and maybe his team wanted him to be on the court. I'm not 100% sure. He looked awesome. Not
yep.
100%, but he looked awesome, right? So
Mhm.
just like very excited to see what's coming. Kyle Anderson, speaking of coming, 36 minutes, 9 points, 7 assists. Our boy Kyle Anderson is just like a Swiss Army knife, man.
Yeah,
Uh, best offseason pickup by this team in a long time, but like dare I say in the NBA this offseason. Anyways, um, great for our boy. It is like a small production, 9 and 7 from our,
yeah,
and he's listed as a guard, as like a 6'9" guard.
yeah.
Crazy.
He was our point guard for a large section of tonight.
Yeah.
Uh,
All
yeah.
right, let's all get sexual for slow mo in 3, 2, 1. B.
C. Okay, I'm saying C just because this is almost what we expect out of him now. Because
Yeah,
like he has this
that's
kind of
true.
production every night. He's almost a triple double every night now. So not
That's
that you're
true.
basing it solely off of the stats, but like Kyle Anderson has been just so good for us all season. And every reason that you just said. Um, I think this is what I mean. This is where it just comes down to stupid like tier list rules, which doesn't matter at all. But like,
Yeah.
it's just like this is what we expect out of him, and he did exactly his role tonight. And it kind of, I guess, it's kind of impressive. You could maybe argue that it can go higher because he did this almost the same production with Towns coming back. And I guess we still have Ant out, so there's like different levels to this, um, but he's just been. I mean, he's just probably, I don't know. I mean, I guess we have all this off-season content that we're getting, but
Can't wait for it.
can't wait for it. But like he could be, I guess, considered for like possible like MVP of the team. I like
Yeah,
realistically, like he's
realistically.
up there. Like, it, it's not Rudy. It probably. I mean, realistically, it's probably Ant. But
Dude.
like, he's up there. He's one of the most important things. And like you said, it was like the biggest like off-season move for us, more than
We
Gobert.
could we could have folded when Cat fell down, right? Like we could have folded,
Yeah,
and there was no way that these people who came on our team that are new are going to waste their time here. Like I felt that from our teams. Like these vets are like, let's get going. Like let's like next man up kind of mentality. It's awesome to see. I don't know. I was going to say a whole lot of nothing, but like Donovan Mitchell like slam dunked on Yuta Watanabe the other night, and it was a pretty
hmm
epic dunk. They proceeded to like put on NBA.com or something, YouTube or something, 50 plus minutes of Donovan Mitchell dunks. I could probably put like a 50-minute like compilation of Kyle Anderson footage. That would just be sweet butter, man. It would be so good to watch because
it would
the
just
way
be
that
one drive.
it'd be just one. That's right. That's actually the actual joke. Nice. All right, so
That is a good joke.
no, just like what he does for our team. That's not just dunking and not just like putbacks. Because I don't even think he does dunk, but it's like, yeah, it's all the extras that he does for this team without like understanding that he does do that. Like
Yeah.
you see him and he doesn't seem like he's the type who does that, but like you see Vanderbilt, he's like, oh, that's what Vanderbilt does, right? Like a
Mhm.
fucking like Sonic the Hedgehog like blitz type of player. That's what Kyle Anderson is for us. Cool. Um, maybe one of the players of the game, but maybe outshined by Nas and Cat's late game free throw heroics. Jaden McDaniels, 36 minutes, 25 points, 2 block shots, 4 assists, 6 rebounds. Went to the free throw line 7 times. hit a three,
Ooh.
9 for 17 from the floor. That's 17 shots for our boy Jaden McDaniels. A grade for our boy in 3, 2, 1. A.
Hey, he's just, I mean, this is just so fun, having
Yeah.
Jaden be this player. Obviously we have Ant out. He's getting a lot more opportunity for scoring, and that's good. We in the past, Jaden was not the player that would step up in these situations to be the scorer and to like make play. He's playmaking, like legitimately. And it's just, I don't know. He's 21 years old. This is crazy. And we have such a bright future with him. Um, for anybody that doubted him in the not being in the Gobert trade, I mean, not that there were that many Timberwolves fans, but like anybody that wasn't aware of why we wanted to keep him so bad is very quickly becoming aware to how important he is to the team, offensively and defensively. Like this
Yeah.
team, honestly, like if you just had Ant and Jaden and forget about Towns, forget about Gobert, Mike Conley, D'Lo, whoever, like you're excited about that team. And like I'm really excited about that team. The possibilities, like think that's like flashback to like how high I was back on like the Wiggins Levine days. I was like all ready for that, given that was a little bit more offensive. But like these two players are two-way players that can be really good together. And guess what? They have a crazy, one of the best shooting bigs of all time. They've
Yeah.
got Rudy Gobert, one of the best defensive centers of all time. And then they've got Mike Conley, who's been paired with Gobert for many years.
Mhm.
So, it's just, I know I'm getting off on a tangent, but like, this is just fun to see Jaden do this. It's just fun.
Yeah. The ceiling hasn't been hit. The floor
Mhm.
hasn't been kind of set yet either with this team. We don't really know what our team is yet. This is going to be 8 games of finding ourselves trying to peak into a play-in, out of a play-in situation. Um, and it's going to be a really interesting ride. I would have said very entertaining, but I don't want to be losing here, right? So, but I'm just like, it's going to be very, very compelling to watch. We had a lineup out there, and actually, I think it erased the 10-point lead that they had. We were down by 10 with like 8 minutes to go. And yeah, sure. Finch is like, you know what? It's time for the slow mo sexual train with slow mo Jaden McDaniels, Torian Prince, Nas, and Gobert.
It's like crazy.
Crazy. They're like all like 8 feet tall. And Atlanta didn't score for like 6 minutes.
It was, yeah, they did. It was kind of, that's why I keep calling it crazy because I mean, obviously they're all tall, they're decent defenders, all of them pretty much. But like, it was like we really did stop them for a while. It was effective.
Yeah.
But
And, a lot of that is like Nas getting like 13 points in the fourth quarter. That's like the
that's
reason
true.
why we won the game and all that nonsense. But like Jaden's
Mhm.
D and like Kyle Anderson's like, basically gifts with the ball. It's awesome. We have a lot of wing depth and Ant's coming back. And our rotation is going to change once again.
Mhm.
But they stopped the starting lineup to do an extra announcement that Cat is back. 26 minutes, 22 points, 8 for 18 from the floor, including 2 threes early. Went to the line 4 times, also 2 in the clutch. And had a couple rebounds, had a couple fouls, had a couple steals, had a couple turnovers. But that's our Cat. A grade for
Mhm.
our boy who had missed 51 games.
It's
In
crazy. One.
yeah,
It's
in 3, 2, 1. A
A1. I'm
1.
giving him A1. This is, I mean, like, obviously, this is like a stat line that's fairly normal from Carl. This was a fairly normal, like, shooting game for him. He did a lot of Carl things. But like coming back from injury, this is just based off of my expectations. I was like, he's really going to have a very short leash minutes wise. Like I thought, what did you say minutes wise? He ended up playing 26. Like
26.
I was thinking he might only play like 15 to 20 minutes max, and it was going to be
Yeah.
like a really slow ramp up. Like he almost played like a normal amount of minutes tonight. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's not that far off. Like what? Like in a regular game, he probably like I guess it depends on how the game is, but like I guess he could hypothetically play another 10 minutes. But like there's going to be some games where he maybe only plays like 31, 32 minutes, depending, especially on like fouling and stuff like that. But no, I just thought this was good. I am as as we were talking about trying to use this term that the kids use, giving him his flowers.
Right.
Like this was just like this was a fun game. It's fun to watch him come back and hit some shots right out the gate and hit the game-winning free throws. Like, that's crazy in your first game back. So
Yeah.
I thought it was really good. And he played some pretty good defense at times too, which was also surprising. He had, I think, what, a couple steals?
Yeah, a couple steals. Yep.
Yeah. There was one steal that he had that it was like, this is like, I like this. Not that he's incapable of getting steals, but maybe it's just been so long since I've watched Cat. Maybe that's just the excuse. But like, there was just multiple times tonight where I was like, this is actually really good, and I'm usually the hater. So like, I don't know. I felt pretty positive tonight, so I guess I'm giving him an honorary A1
Yeah,
for coming back.
that's great. Congrats to Cat, man. This is a big win for our team, but also just a big win for Cat morale. And so, what is this? What does he do with this? You know, like he's gonna have to get a lot of recovery and rest and ice baths and whatever the crap he needs to do to get healthy for Sunday. Because now he's back in our rotation. You can't, no excuses. He's now playing 28 minutes minimum. You know, like we're gonna need him. So, as we fill in the rest of the season. All right, we are one game above 500 or 500.
We are 500. Oh gosh, I
We're
don't remember now.
500. We are 500. 37 and 37. 8 games left to play. 42 wins is still in play.
Are they? Yeah, 42 is still in play. Yeah. I thought you said 46. I was like, I don't think so.
That's not happening. But I don't know. We could like kind of think about the West here, and like our games remaining include the Pelicans, include the Warriors. I think is on Sunday.
Yes. Yep. We play the Warriors. So upcoming schedule, as we've been hinting at all month, is crazy. By the way, shout out BX Rep 19. Tonight felt normal, which is a step up from other games. That's actually true. I like that. It did feel kind of normal, which is kind of what we were just talking about. It's like weirdly normal for having Cat gone for 51 games. But first, we have 3 days off. The Timberwolves get to relax, get to rest a little bit. Well, not really relax, but rest. Towns gets to see how he feels after a game of playing, the first one after 51 games. But then we get into the 4 most important games of the season. We play 3 away games in a row and then a home game. It is the Warriors, the Kings, back to back, the Suns, who just lost to the Lakers minutes ago, and then the Lakers.
Gosh,
this week decides a lot of things. You know, all of those teams are above us. No. Other than the Lakers, the Lakers are, I think, still a game under 500. So or are they?
They're half a game under 500. Yeah, it's like they're 36 and 37.
Okay, after the win tonight. Yeah. Perfect. So yeah, we're still half a game above them, but
that's crazy.
It is crazy because if you look at the standings, like, I mean, right now, so with Phoenix losing, we are now, what are we? We are 2 games back. 2 games back of the 4 seed. There's 8 games left, so that's very possible.
Sure.
With
the Clippers losing PG, with I think Ayton is not playing right now. KD's not playing right now.
Yeah, I don't remember who's. Yeah, KD's not playing because he hurt himself in his warm-ups or whatever. Let's see, what's the most like updated thing? But so we're 2 games out of 4th, which is insanity. But we are only 1 game above 12th. This is the craziest. Like,
stay pessimistic, baby.
I think it's important. This is like a warning, okay? We all have to put this in our head. There is a high likelihood that we miss the plan. And I'm not saying that because we're a bad team or anything. I'm not even trying to be negative about it. I'm just saying this is the situation right now. It's too mixy. There's too many teams that could do random things that could jump. Like, who knows? The Pelicans could turn it around after having this terrible, like, couple months and suddenly just be They could be the 4th seed. It's not impossible. They could seriously do that. It's I don't even think the Blazers aren't even technically eliminated from anything. So like the Blazers can come back, but
Uh,
they're not going
they're not
to.
gonna.
we're good there. But um I a lot of the times I like to have like scenarios in my head of like best case scenario and worst case scenario.
Mhm.
Um, I'm having a hard time doing that exercise in my head right now because there's just too many variables. There's too many teams, too many injuries that are happening slash not happening. Like obviously, the PG injury was awful. I hated watching that. That was so painful to watch. Even though I mean, like obviously it's not as bad as like a break as has happened in the past with him, of course. But man, I just like can't watch hyperextensions like that. That's like awful, and it could take a long time too. Like it could take like right now they're saying 2 to 3 weeks, but who knows? That could be a long time. So
The X Rep 19 is asking a pretty interesting. I don't even think he's asking a question. I think this is a really true statement
yep.
here. What the Wolves have going that nobody else has. There's been a peak to every other team in contention. That is correct. This season, this team has
Mm-hmm.
not peaked yet.
Nope.
No, we have not. We won 5 straight, maybe 6. That was not a peak. That was like
No.
no something though. I agree. Um, Phoenix went all in. I if they're not able to beat the Lakers,
Dude.
you know, I mean, I'm just looking at that. Like they didn't beat the Lakers. They needed this win. They want to be the 3 seed. They don't
Yeah.
want to be the
Yeah.
4 seed.
And they're dangerously close to losing their 4 seed. I mean, like obviously we're only 2 games back. So are the Warriors, or no, the Warriors are only a game back of them.
Mm.
The Clippers, even without PG, are
Mm.
only down a half a game to them. Like
Mm.
that's like they could very easily
Wow.
lose it.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm gonna restate that. They want to be the 4 seed. They don't want to be the 12th seed. I mean,
Yeah, because they could be the 12 seed.
yeah, I felt like that was a very, very uh, pivotal loss for them. We'll see how this transfolds. Dallas is like half of a team right now because Kyrie's in
Yep.
and Luka's out, and like Luka's
Yep.
in, Kyrie's out, and like I don't know what the hell they're doing. OKC's winning. What?
What the
I
hell?
had them
Like that
pegged
is
for
the
14
weirdest thing.
wins. You know, like they
Seriously.
are there. Kudos to them and they're whatever they're building. I have
And
no
they don't
idea
even
how to
have
predict
Chet.
them. I don't even have Chet. Yeah, they're going to get another night. They have like all these draft picks too,
It's
so
crazy.
they're
This is
they're
our
looking
year.
great for the future. But like we can take this. I think we can take these games, and I don't know. Like Golden State's gonna be pretty interesting. They don't have Wiggins still, but they have Kuminga kind of peaking right now, and they have everyone healthy. I guess.
Mhm.
And I don't know if they're like awesome yet with like efficiency. Like is Clay back? I don't know if like Clay is like peak, back to true form or anything. But
Mhm.
yeah, that's gonna be a very interesting, potentially like season defining game on Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, like the there's a lot. So yeah, let's look at that. Let's look at let me pull up the schedule here because the Warriors will play now. I assume they're going to play in between today and Sunday, even though we don't. I don't think they would also have 3 games off in a row. That
Mhm.
seems kind of weird. So let's take a look. Let's see if they play. They don't play tomorrow. They do play. Oh, they play Friday against the 76ers. Um,
Yeah.
that could very well be a loss. Oh, good. You're sharing something good. Thank you.
I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing.
That's okay. But
So
so
this
the
is
Warriors play the 76ers on Friday. That's their next game. And then,
Warriors here. Yeah.
yep. And then
They play
yeah, they
Philly.
can't play
Wow.
on Saturday. Yeah. So that's, I mean, I think Joel Embiid did go out of tonight's game, but then he didn't come back because they were up by so many. But oh my gosh,
Look
look
at
at all
this.
these
They're just eating each
games.
other up. They're just eating each other
Oh,
up. I'm so
this
thankful
is
that I don't have
crazy.
anything to do except for watch basketball now.
Okay, so yeah, let's
Gosh, it
look at
looks
the
crazy.
schedule because like now, who do you think wins out of the Suns and the Kings?
The Kings.
Probably
And
the
I would have never said that pregame or preseason.
yeah, yeah. And then like out of OKC and LA, I legit
That's a
have
coin
zero
flip.
clue who's going to win that
That's
game.
a coin
That
flip.
is really a coin flip. Like they're both 500 teams,
I think
and
the
they're
best player
both
is
just
Shy.
like yeah, yeah.
The best
And
player
like
is
they
Shea.
have to rely, they have to they have to rely on D'Lo for the Lakers. They have to rely on him. They have
Yeah.
to rely on Vando, Beasley, like, and I'm not like trying to like flame these guys, but like we just know from previous experience that it's a coin flip with them. There's one game they're going to be hot and it's going to look amazing, and the next game it's not. The
Yeah.
Suns play the 76ers, and then
Wow. Sacramento, Utah.
the
I guess that's
Kings.
probably Sacramento. And this is a
Dude,
really
these
crazy game
games.
too. Pelicans and
Oh
Clippers.
my!
They're just eating each other up, man.
I
We
mean,
need to
yeah,
take care of
this is the
business.
week. This is the week where, like, unless everyone literally goes 500 the whole week, like this is the week where seeds are like determined. Because sure, there's
Yeah.
another like 4 games after this week, but like, or I guess it's next week, but there's another 4 games for us. But realistically, we're probably at least in some. It's not going to be like, oh, we're between 4 and 12. It's going to be like, oh, we're between 4 and 8, or like 9 and 12 or something like that. Like that's after this week, we're probably going to be somewhat more in that territory. I hope.
Yeah.
There, man, there cannot be a situation where the last game of the season, somebody in like the 6th seed goes to the 12th. I don't even care whose team it is, unless it's the Lakers. That would be really fun. But beyond that, it's like imagine how heartbreaking that would be for any fan base to be like, wow, we've got a regular playoff game, or a regular. We don't even have to play the play in. Just kidding.
Just
We don't
kidding.
make the play in. Like, oh god, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
That's a potential. That's potentially on our horizon, and I can't believe you just jinxed us. That's gonna be us, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just looking at
My
this. I don't want
goodness.
to look any further, but like, man, now we play Phoenix, and like Sacramento plays. Man, we're just eating each other up. Like
The
Dallas
schedule
plays
maker knew
Philly.
what they were
Philly's
doing.
playing like literally all the teams
Yeah.
in our sites, man. That's
We are
crazy.
76ers fans for the next week and a half.
Yeah. As much as I don't really want Embiid to get MVP, I mean, I wouldn't mind him getting it, you know, so then we can be in the playoffs.
Yeah. And I think, man, yeah. So, but back to the kind of main thing. So, there's a very high likelihood that the Warriors lose that game against the 76ers. So, that's their game before us on Sunday. And then that
Yeah.
means that they fall to 38 and 37. And then
Yeah.
we win, we surpass them. So, we kind of control our destiny there. Because then, and I guess I don't remember what the Clippers were doing in that span either, but like, the Clippers could also potentially fall out. We could they're like, by Sunday night, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it I mean, it's a chance that we could be the 5 seed. It
Yeah.
could happen. And you just got to win. I know it's a big game. I know it's against the Warriors at the Warriors. So that's the down part about all these games, is that they're all away. A lot of them are away games. Because if they were home games, you might feel a little bit more confident. You're starting to feel pretty good. But we play 3 away games, and I know that's I know Anthony Edwards likes, what does he call it? He loves Sacramento's gyms or whatever, but like, um, but no, it's just gonna be so good if we win 2 out of the next 4 at least. I mean, that just keeps us afloat though. That doesn't
Yeah.
even get us anywhere really.
Doesn't get anywhere. We're going to be 41 and
Well,
41 in the 12th seed. I mean, Jesus. There was,
I will say though, I legitimately don't know how to feel positive or negative. Like I know I'm usually negative a lot in these situations, but like I legitimately, like, there's just so many possibilities, and there are things in our favor, but like,
too many variables.
no, too many variables, and like just because they're in the Wolves' favor has never really done anything for us. Like it's just kind of
Yeah.
like we need to like. Usually when it's against us is when we have a little bit better luck. But man,
Right.
I'm excited for this week, but it's nerve wracking.
As my camera's dying, like strength of schedule, I know the Lakers have like the easiest strength of schedule amongst us. and then we have one of the harder ones. So take that for what it is.
Yep.
Let's see how things kind of fall. Thank you guys so much for joining us. I'm gonna just take my camera off now and go ahead and close this out.
Sounds good. Well, I appreciate you all joining us. I will be back. When will I be back? Sunday. I think I'm available Sunday. I think I've tried to make myself available. I usually have photo shoots during these times, but I've been trying to get these off or at least scheduled a little bit better. I think Sunday is the 26th. Yes, I am free as of right now, so that's good. And then Monday might be the same situation. I might be a little late, so that could happen. Um, but yeah, I think that's it. I don't know if Ashwin's coming back in, but if you're new here, please do subscribe. We're going to be doing playoff content if there is some, play-in content if there is some, and we'll at the very least be doing if we somehow do exactly what I was talking about, fall from like the 6th to the 12th seed on the last day of the season. You can guarantee there will be a show then. So, cool. It was good to see you all. Subscribe, like, join the Discord. That's where I get to complain and tell people that I need to be on an FBI watch list. Anyways, before I get myself in trouble, it was good to see everybody. Intro. Oops, where is the intro? Intro is the outro. We'll see you on Sunday.